Well, well, well. Hello, Trish.
Doug, long time, no time.
Yeah, what's up? How's it going?
It's going. What about you?
I'm doing all right. I'm very excited about today's topic. I love
I,
the summer,
me too, man.
and I totally do slow down in the summer. I try to take things easier, try to hang out by the pool, try to sun myself.
Do you have a pool, or do you have a pool availability?
Well, we like to where we live, we call it a townhouse.
Okay.
People call it a condo, but
Okay.
it's just might as well be an apartment with all these renters.
is
But we've got the pools, pretty much like Caddyshack now, all the time. So
it busy?
it's busy with the kids and the moms, and we do have a group of older gentlemen that literally lay out there and they're like, who's the Hamilton guy that was always super tan?
Yeah, yeah.
Not Alexander Hamilton, George
George.
Hamilton. Like there's 3 or 4 George Hamiltons, and they might be in the mob.
You know, they're hiding out from the Italian mob here and in the Northeast. They're out there in San Diego, pretending.
The California Italian mob.
Exactly.
All right. Well, let's see. So always enjoy doing this with you. Teresa is literally getting adjusted now at the chiropractor. He's like,
yep, she needs it. I think I've never been.
I have been a few times. I was very nervous at first, but I enjoy it. I have enjoyed it. I like the neck crack, but they always have to tell me to super relax and then they wait. And my wife actually used to work in a chiropractor's office, and she says that some people yell, some people scream, some people cuss, and I every time I laugh.
I think that would be me, and I can't relax. I don't think I ever relax.
It's tough.
So I think I would find it hard to do.
Have you seen, how I like the TikTok? Have you seen the pet chiropractors on there?
Yes, man. And some of them, the dogs, especially the cats, don't do it so much, but the dogs, like, they like, and then they look at the person. Like,
did you do
to me?
Like, I feel better.
Yeah, I think I'm better. Yeah, I've seen those. Those are crazy.
But you try it sometime.
I don't know. I've never had a massage either.
Are you kidding me?
No. I don't think I'd like it.
I don't know. I had I've had some massages. I've done the float, the sensory deprivation. I love that.
I love that.
That's great.
So my favorite thing in the entire world to do is to float. Like literally, that's all I want to do in life. I just want someplace where I can float. So, and a lazy river with a drink in my hand, man, best thing in the whole world. Like I could do it every day.
You drinking and floating around a pool is a little different than a sensory deprivation float where you go in the chamber.
I agree with you. So that's what I was going to say. So when I did the sensory deprivation thing, I really liked it, but I kept thinking it might be better if I had a drink with me.
I can see that. I can see that. And you're in there. You don't watch the movie Altered State, speaking of 70s horror movies. But real quick before we get started, and then we'll greet everybody. We'll do the romper room. My first massage was on a boys' trip in Vegas I think it was at the Golden Nugget in the spa.
Okay.
And I was like, I've never done this before. What do you do? And they're like, well, whatever you're comfortable with, you can strip. And then instantly I'm like, I had no problem. Got a guy in the swoosh, like giving me the massage. But so we finish up and we all meet. Oh, that was great. That was great. My friend Scott, who I've known not as long as Philip, but my friend Scott comes out and we're in robes and stuff because you're in a spa, you're treating yourself. Yeah. He comes out in his swim trunks down to his knees that he kept on the whole massage.
I just don't have any words.
Indeed.
These are you are the people you hang around with. You know this, right?
Well, I have no problem with, a massage and all that. But speaking of massages, Susie Eads is here. What's up, Susie? Thanks for being here. Hey, y'all. Tell the kids we said, what's up? All 9 of them. And of course, Big Daddy.
Yeah, all 9 of them. Jill's here. She said, I hate bones cracking. I agree with Jill. Stay away from me and my bones. I'm good.
But I might. Now it's like I'm walking around the house and my hip will pop or my knee. I'll be like,
Yeah.
so I don't know. Maybe I'd need a trip to the chiropractor.
Carolyn, maybe you do.
Maybe I do. But look, everybody. Trish Glenn's here.
It's amazing. Trish is here. It's so good. She never shows up.
Brett is here. What's up, Brett?
Hey, Brett.
Jill.
Jill. Kathy's here. Catherine's here.
There we go.
Oh, Laura.
Yeah.
I love Laura. She's so cute.
Very nice.
Veta said she has a leg massager. I don't even know what that means. Like you put your legs in it? What does that mean, Veta? Amy's here. Well, we appreciate you all showing up. We really do.
Yeah.
We are going to relax and take in the cracks. No, thank you. We are going to talk about Summer Slowdown. And, you know, one of the things I would like to talk about before we get on really on this subject is it a real thing? What do you think, Mr. Douglas?
Well, and so I will say, based on what I've seen and heard, is some people think it's not. Some people think it is, and a lot of people always be like, "I'm in the middle of it right now," and then I think there's experienced sellers who I think get to the point that they plan for it and they adapt and they're ready for it, and I think it's a thing because I've seen it in other things, like even at eBay. When I was at did you know, Trish, that I used to work at eBay?
You worked at eBay?
Hey, please.
Man, Doug, I didn't know that. How have I known you this long and I never knew you worked at eBay?
Lots you don't know, Trish. There's mysteries. I'm like an onion. The deeper you peel,
you're like an onion, all right. You may I cry constantly.
The deeper you go, the more you cry. But seriously, folks, we saw that at eBay. Is like, yeah, but I think part of it is you get people get busy in the summer.
Yeah.
There's vacation, there's graduations, there's Father's Day. Obviously, my birthday, which is
mine too.
Coming up. Our birthday is coming up. Clara's birthday is coming up. Thayer obviously is going to have something big planned. Oh, you guys do have something big planned.
We do have something big planned. Susie and I have birthdays that are very close. So Summer Slowdown is killing you, Catherine.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I think Todd's right. One way to combat Summer Slowdown, and I do believe it's a real thing. And of course, it's a real thing in happy birthday, Kathy.
Yeah,
it's a real thing in some categories more than other categories, right? Some categories really get hit in the summer. And I do think that used clothing or clothing in general is one of the categories that gets hit. Not that you're not going to sell clothes, not that the clothing is just going to completely dry up, but you're just not going to sell as many or as much. And one way to combat that is exactly what Todd said, is to keep listing. Evidently, and Jill also. Listing more. You may not sell more, right, for what you're listing, but you're going to maybe sell as much as you were if you list more to make up for the summer slowdown. So some of it is a strategy. There's strategy involved in figuring out what you can do to try and make sure you're in the best position possible during the summer. Yeah. And I do think there are some things that you're not going to find any slowdown, and Jill and Amy both have a really good point. Use this time to do the things that you don't have time for the rest of the year. An inventory, revamping your office, redoing your inventory system. getting things, um, and if you want to change something, using that time to do it rather than trying to do it at the height of another time. Do big box stores slow down their inventory? I think they adjust, yes. I mean, and I also think that big box stores, specifically if we're talking, Walmart, Target, those kind of places, they don't sell one thing. So the things that maybe go down, other things will go up. So, whereas somebody who like me, for example, I only sell used clothing. So I don't have anything else to try to pump out to try to balance the used clothing out, if that makes sense.
Well, I was under the impression that you could buy big boxes all year round.
You
Thank you, everybody.
I do not know who gave you the impression that you're funny, because we really need to talk about it, Doug.
Oh, well, years
Um,
of built up frustration.
yeah. Oh, and Catherine just wrote, using time to list as much as possible, so when it picks back up again, my store is stocked. Exactly.
There you go.
So, but let's talk about some things that you can do, maybe to so what do you think, Doug?
Yes. So, what about planning ahead a bit? And this is the thing is like, we're always big proponents of planning ahead. Have a plan if you know this is coming, if you're worried about it. And think about like offering discounts on stuff that people are going to buy, seasonal promotions and sales, maybe some flash sales, but kind of mix up what you're doing.
Exactly. And also, and I think it's a great idea about, summer inventory. If you have things, bathing suits, swim trunks, floaties, things for 4th of July, anything, picnic items, cookout items, outdoor items, things that, now I know that there are some places in the country that, you can offer these things all the time. Here in the Northeast, we have a really short summer window. So for us, I think there are a lot of us go hard all summer and have lots of cookouts, lots of gatherings, because it's such a short time. So, there are some places in the country where I think maybe we'll buy a little bit more, whereas someplace where you are, Doug, maybe you buy these things like all year round.
Let's see. I have no idea. We did buy some floaty hammock things recently. So there is that. We bought a fan. It's going to be a hot summer here in Southern California. So we did that. Um, maybe looking at a barbecue. I don't know. We've got the griddle though, Trish. I do like the griddle. I'm like
The
a
Blackstone, like a Blackstone griddle. Is that what you mean?
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
That
Cool.
I like that. Like if you come by, I will throw a shrimp in your mouth.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Okay. So, and anyone who knows me or goes to Mastermind or listens to me knows that I'm not really into social media for sellers. But if you're going to do it, use the summer to your advantage, right? Have a social media campaign that's about summer themes. Talk about the things that you have available for summer. If you are somebody, and maybe think about how you could, promote your summer items to try to get people to come into your store that way. Increase your presence online.
And yeah, so I'm a content guy. Trish is a content girl. Think about putting out content that's going to draw people in. And, we talk about things and what we do, like we call it high level funnel content in the business, ladies and gentlemen. And
So
so
just so you all know, I was going to say, here's a little inside knowledge. Every time Doug says high level, we all drink. Of course, it's usually water, but we still drink because he says it so often.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite words. But basically, the concept is you use content that people might be looking for based on what you might be selling, like summer stuff. Post maybe some fun posts, some funny posts, if that's your thing. This is kind of me. Is like I source from my garage and my storage bin, and I'm good for years, and I have no concept of seasonal selling and all that. So, but yeah, missing
Well, Laura has a point. If Laura's in upstate New York, I'm in Massachusetts, and if you live in some place, you may have to really spend the summer thinking about gathering stuff to sell for the rest of the year. If you're somebody who uses garage sales, things like that, yard sales, because we have a really short window here. So, I mean, yard sales are only really from May until September here. And this May was very wet, so they really haven't even started yet. So, I mean, I think I've seen 2 yard sales all year so far. So, it's really June, July, and August for yard sales here. In September, it can get cold, so you never know. So if you're somebody who, not that this is combating the summer slowdown, but keep it in mind, you may have a short buying opportunity, so think about how you want to spend your time.
Well, and also a couple quick things, then I want to get to a question specifically for you, Trish.
Okay.
So, think about this too, is like this is also a time when you can be stocking up on stuff that's going to be on sale. That's,
Right.
for different seasons, things like that. So, I like this question. What's up, Spirit Junkie? Nice to see you. You're talking to the mastermind lady herself, the Svengali of selling, the Vladimir Putin of, no, I'm just kidding.
I don't ignore him, Spirit Junkie. So List Perfectly, if you belong to List Perfectly, you automatically belong to this thing called Listing Party. And Listing Party has different events every single day. And one of them that we have is a mastermind class every single morning at 9 a.m. Well, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific. Those people are diehards. God bless them. They still show up. Dawn still shows up in the morning, even though it's at 6 a.m.
Very early.
Very early. And we talk about a different subject every single day. And we answer questions. We try to help each other. And, like tomorrow, we're talking about integrating technology and automation tools and about how that could help grow your business and maybe get you to the next level. So that's what it is. So if you belong to List Perfectly, we'd love to have you. And not everyone who uses List Perfectly knows about Listing Party or uses Listing Party, and it has a lot of great, not just mastermind. Oh, thank you, Amy. I appreciate that. Not just mastermind, but it has different classes, for lack of a better term, every single day. And we also try to do some specials every week. And there are some fun things just for the fun of it. Doug has the Snoop Doug show, which was this afternoon. And it's on a fun, different topic, really not selling related, but something just kind of community for fun for people to show up.
Whoa. Stop the show, Trish.
Sorry,
So,
Doug.
my show, they're very serious topics.
Yeah.
Like Bigfoot, UFOs, 70s horror movies,
70s horror.
James Bond films, things
Well,
like
that
that.
one was serious.
But no, but seriously, curator of thrift. So we have, Trish's mastermind, so many other things you can see there, customer support, all kinds of different stuff, but some fun, some educational, some where sellers are working. And we also have a 24/7, 24-hour party hangout that is literally people. A lot of it is listing. They're listing together, working together. Our friend Vetta's Treasures equated it to kind of being like you're in your cubicle and you've got your friends working. If you have a question or need something, you can just be like, hey, what do you do or what's this? But all kinds of stuff. Simply go to listingparty.com and just, I think you click one button and it connects your List Perfectly account.
It does.
So there we go.
Yeah,
This is
sorry.
I probably have 1,000 Hawaiian shirts I've collected for 25 years that I have to work on. Yeah.
Well, Todd, I don't know if you know this, but there's this new thing that may help you with that. Just take a few clicks, maybe in better shape than you realized. So, another thing that you can do for Summer Slowdown is optimize your listings. Take this time to make sure that you're using the best keywords. Take this time to make sure your photos are as good as they can be. Take this time to make sure that your listing specifics are as filled out as much as you think they need to be. And that is all, of course, a different level for everybody, what we think needs to be filled out. But use this time to decide if you're doing what's best for your listings, because sometimes when there's less people who are buying, you need to make sure your listing, I just froze. I'm very sorry. I froze. I saw myself do it. You need to make sure your listing's as good as it can be.
Yeah. And, like Trish was saying, this is a time to take a look at things, try different things, update your listings, optimize your listings. We always say, keep an eye on your competitors and, see what they're doing, see what they're maybe doing better from you, learn from them, try different prices, try different promotions. And I pasted the same thing twice. Update your photos, ensure your listings are optimized. Sorry about that. And I did want to go back to another thing because I'm
Sure.
obsessed with it. But one sec. So, the opportunity to, take a look at keywords, take a look at different things, maybe modify your titles. I do not, at eBay, I do not advocate Trish, I can't believe you would bring this up and have me open this can of worms. I said, Trish, whatever you do, don't bring it up. Relist, delist.
I never brought it up.
So I'm not a fan, and because I learned about this at eBay. They're not a fan of on eBay relisting, delisting, and relisting. I know plenty of sellers that are fans of it, and they say that they see results. I've seen results with it on Mercari, but on eBay, I'm a bigger fan of you tweaking your listings, as they say, Trish. And then, go ahead.
That there is a very large, there's two camps about that, right? I mean, you and I happen to fall into the same camp, but, and I understand that there's data that shows that it really doesn't help, but there are a lot of people, Kat, the nurse flipper being one of them, who absolutely does it every single day. And because of that, she uses the new link feature inside List Perfectly. So it used to be that you would really mess up your catalog when you did this. But now, because of List Perfectly's new link feature, it is much easier to keep everything in your catalog up to date and linked and everything to be able to keep working. So I am not quite as stringent as I was before Link came out, because before I really didn't think it was worth the mess that it created for yourself. But if you're somebody who's going to do the delist, relist, I do think summer's a good time to do it, because it's a slower time. You have more time, because once fall starts again, I wouldn't do it. I would go right back to listing as much as you could every single day. So if you're going to do it, I think now's the time, and just make sure you're linking everything afterwards.
Well, and then the caveat always is if it works for you, go for it. But, the other side of it is if you are somebody that is delisting and relisting tons of stuff all the time, probably volume wise, statistically, you could see a little bit of a bump. So, but just do what works. If you believe in it, go for it. And that link feature does make it a lot easier to do that. But I did want to go back to this because when Trish was at the chiropractor Monday, Teresa and I we do coffee talk on Mondays where we spare some coffee and we sit in the break room and we talk about stuff. We talked about e-commerce options, not marketplaces, but website options, plugins, like not plugins, but like Shopify. And we drifted into a discussion, of course, of content and content marketing. And we talked about too how it's not for everybody. It's difficult to make time for it. Jason Wells was on there and he talked about, he's done it, but it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time to do this content. And not everybody's into it. But this is one of those things too, is, if you have a website and you have an email list, big or small, that people have opted in, you can send emails to your customers with offers, new arrivals, special discounts. You can send messages on eBay, send out offers, things like that. Just another thing to think about to just, get a little more eyes on those listings,
And
Trish.
anyone that has an eBay store, you have the ability to send out a newsletter for your store through eBay. So, and not everyone does that. Not everyone utilizes that. I would venture to say most eBay sellers don't utilize that feature. I would suggest you try it. I know some of us are worried about inundating our buyers from eBay. But here's the thing. eBay will only allow so many things to go out one day to one person. So you don't have to worry about sending it out.
Yeah.
eBay is going to decide who sees it. So you don't have to worry that you're going to annoy somebody. So if you are not using that, look it up and see about setting it up. It is not hard, and you'll be able to tweak it a little and send it out every once in a while. It's a good feature.
And that's good because I don't worry about annoying people, Trish.
I knew that because you annoy me often, and I knew you didn't worry.
I love what stop the show, Trish. I love what Todd is saying here. Speaking of tweaking your listings. So that's the thing is, if you've got something and you tweak, he's like, I added this, it's been sitting for edited a listing last week. Sounds like it had been sitting for a bit. This reminds me of the famous Kim Koala Trading Company Duran Duran t-shirt story. She had this vintage Duran Duran t-shirt, and it was vintage from back in the day, like 1984. And that's something that at this point with these vintage concert shirts, you find the right person, like a hardcore Duran Duran fan, they're going to pay that money for it. And so, I knew that it was from the technically 83 to 84, 7 in the Ragged Tiger tour. Actually, technically the Sing Blue Silver tour. So I told her, put those keywords in the title, because as they would say, a Duranie like myself would know to look for something like that if you were looking for that. And she sold it in a few days.
So I'm very excited about that. I'm very excited that you sold it. I mean, that she sold it.
Not to me. I would never pay hundreds of dollars for a shirt.
You wouldn't?
I would just get the knockoff.
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't know. Maybe
interesting.
I might, but I do think about those things, Trish.
Susan, I'm not 100% sure about your question. So if you could write me, Trish at listperfectly.com, I will, I'll figure it out for you. I don't do it very often, so I don't want to give you the wrong information off the top of my head. Because I don't use Sell Similar. So please write me, Trish at listperfectly.com, and I'll make sure I get you the right answer.
But that reminds me, ladies and gentlemen, speaking of Sell Similar, List Perfectly has that merge function now. And so basically quickly and easily, it works on all marketplaces, but I think it really shines on eBay. So if you've got, especially with all those item specifics, if you've got a listing you like, let's say you're selling books and there's a bookseller you like, or I know a couple sellers that sell from their own listings because they've got, very similar item specifics picked out. You can go into List Perfectly and then go into eBay and pick a listing and basically merge the two.
Right.
Take the
and
stuff.
So I'm wondering if that would work for her, but I just want to make sure. I just want to get some more specifics to know that, Trish, TRISH at listperfectly.com. So that we can make sure we get her in the right space.
There you go. Cool.
Yeah. Another thing I think that you guys want to make sure during summer slowdown, I mean, I think this is important all year, but think about adding value. Maybe you can add something. Maybe if most people in your category don't have free returns, maybe you add free returns. Maybe if you want to add low cost or free shipping for a little while, think about adding some value so that people are more apt to buy yours than somebody else's. Even if it's a similar price point, you want to add a little bit of extra value. I know that a lot of us, I have free returns. And I know a lot of us are hesitant to do that because it does eat into a little bit of our profits. But if you have a low return rate, I don't think you're going to see much of a bump from adding free returns.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. That's what I've seen with other sellers, and it's interesting to me because a microcosm is like I'm like right in the percentage of not that many returns. What's the percentage they say is typical on eBay? Is it 5% or something? I don't know. If
I think it's lower. I think across the board it's around 2.
Yeah.
But certain categories have higher. So like used clothing has a higher, especially women's clothing, have a higher return rate. Mine's about 4%, which I'm fine with. Like that is not upsetting. I'm not upset by 4% because, I won't buy a piece of clothing if I know I can't return it. That's just a no, even if you give me measurements, like, I'm a little busty. I don't know if you all know this. I'm a little busty. You never know where the things are going to fall. You never know how the shirt's going to fit. So if I can't if I can't send it back, I'm not buying it. And jeans, women's jeans, they're all different sizes. We have vanity sizing for women, so you can be a size 12 in one thing, a size 16 in another. Then you could buy a Chico's and it says you're a size 2. So, vanity sizing screws up these things. Some people don't know what they're buying. So, I think your return rate really is specific to category.
And, for me, all the stuff, I think everything that's been returned, I think it was about 2%, but everything that I've had returned, it's like, no problem. And then I just relist it. You know what I mean?
Susan just cracked me up.
Oh, there you go.
Susan, that was great.
I'm surprised Susie Eads isn't chiming in on that.
I'm sure she has something to say.
So Kathy says, I like using the merge for items that I'm not familiar with. I just listed a torque wrench. Torque wrench today. And but it wouldn't be shocking if I didn't know what that was, but I do.
It's true.
And needed that tool to beef up the listing. There you go. It helped.
Awesome. Yeah.
Wait and see.
Yeah, it's really good for things you don't know about. It really is. It can fill in a lot of the gaps easily and quickly without having to do, 1,000, hours of research. And
sorry,
yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Doug.
I have an urgent announcement.
Of course.
So, but though, helping you with that product research is we have the listing assistant under Express Lister. And so right now, you can put your photos in there, hit the button. AI reads your photos, generates an optimized title for you, and you can go from there. And then let's just say there's much more coming soon that's going to help you with your product research. We've messed around with it. We've seen for you clothing buyers, it even picks up stuff from pictures of labels and sizes and all that. And I don't want to reveal too much, Trish, just a shoulder. But there's more coming. It's gonna be amazing. And it's gonna you think you're listening fast now. Wait and see, my friends.
Yeah, things are, last week when this kind of dropped without much fanfare because we wanted to see how things went. Somebody in List Perfectly, hey Melissa, somebody in List Perfectly said that it was a game changer. Jason Wells said that, and it is a game changer. I don't use that, loosely. I use that really. I mean, it could, you're going to be able to list much faster and with more accuracy. And what we had Patrick did a test in a meeting we were in, and he took pictures of took pictures of it, took pictures of the tags and blah blah blah, and it picked up things that I could not read with my glasses. Did you notice that? It was a size extra large, and it was like blue on blue, and I'm like, I mean, I couldn't read it. I couldn't read it, and it put it in size extra large. I mean, it was awesome.
Amazing. And Trish, this isn't recorded or anything, right? Is this live?
This is live.
Oh, we are
recorded. Yeah.
So anyway, so Susan asked an interesting question, Susan. So let's just say there's no official Whatnot integration right now, but we also know that all you need on Whatnot to launch a listing for your live shows is a photo and a title. So you are correct. Basically, you could do that right now. And so, yeah.
And you also, they're integrated. It's not an official integration, but Doug's right. All you need is a title and a photo. So you can do those. You can put it in a custom marketplace and then use a CSV, and you could do 100 in 5 minutes. Yeah.
Get your show rocking and rolling. Yep. So an unofficial, no, but that would definitely work with Whatnot. But even right now it's speeding up your listings, but stuff's coming very soon. So keep an eye out. Trish, so what do you think about like loyalty programs and stuff like that?
So, Susie was here. I don't know if she's still here, but somebody like Susie who has a very niche specific business. Susie has 2 businesses. One, she sells bras in. The other one is like a Victorian base. I think for her, especially the Victorian, where she has a high rate of repeat customers, some kind of loyalty program may be really good for her. And it may be very, it may actually, generate business. So I think it really depends on what your rate of return customers is. And that is something you can find on eBay. Not all of the platforms give us this information, but eBay does. So you can extrapolate that out, and kind of think about what you have across the board. But if you're somebody who does get a lot of repeat customers, if you're in a very specific niche, I think it would really be worth looking into.
And Susie is here, so you must have said her name 3 times. Susie Eads, Susie Eads, Susie Eads.
Susie.
And there's other examples too, like Donovan Collection. Always, like, every reach out he offers coupons, discounts, things like that, especially when he has a return or something like that. It's like, hey, no problem. Here's a percentage discount next time you buy. Oh my God, need her store name on bras for my girls.
I just wrote Big Daddy's money for all your bra needs.
Daddy's money for all your bra needs.
I am going to do a box program on the website. I do not know what the heck that means.
Yeah, I thought that was some lady. I know a lot of lady speak because, I get along better. I can't talk torque wrenches, but I can talk with the ladies. But I thought that was some kind of
Nope, no idea what that means, Susie.
Some kind of lady
something. So we'll see if she writes, because I have no idea what that is. And another thing that you could a mystery box for customers. Oh, fun. You're welcome, Susan. And another thing that you guys could try is to expand what you sell. Maybe if you're somebody like me, who only sells one thing, maybe I should add something, maybe I should have something else that I sell. Maybe I need another product line. I think, Doug, you just wrote trending items. I never think about that. I never think about what's trending, what's popular. It's just not something I really focus on, just getting high quality used items. And I figure if I can get them low enough, at some point, somebody's going to buy it. So for me, it's kind of, maybe I need to expand.
Yeah. I mean, and again, this is all like a lot. It's all, there's so much you can do. It's all difficult to manage, but with something like this is like if a movie comes out, something like that, or what popped into my head too was like during COVID, people were home, video games sold crazily, games sold crazily,
Board games, yeah.
puzzles sold
Yeah.
crazily. So a lot of people were stocking up on those. And now, um, I mean, I haven't sold I don't have any video games listed because I think I sold most of the ones I had during COVID, but I'm pretty sure puzzles have slowed down, board games have slowed down a bit, but that's kind of an odd blip. But then you have like I was when I was at eBay, fidget spinners, that was during the fidget spinner thing. Fidget spinners were big with the kids and they get things. And that was also during the time of Pokemon Go. And so there'd be people walking around at eBay looking for Pikachu.
Well, and it's, so maybe, maybe expanding. But another thing, if this we do this on Fridays for everybody. It's not specifically a List Perfectly always related, but I would like to say that, utilize, if you are a List Perfectly member, and if you're not, you should be. We're all fun and we'd love to have you. But if you are somebody who's already using List Perfectly, make sure you're utilizing all the tools that they have to offer. Right now you can opt into Pro Plus for free till the end of the year. So you're only paying the Pro price. And you can opt into Pro Plus for the same price to the end of the year. And, opt in and get as much done. Utilize it as much as possible. Utilize all the tools. Make sure you're on all the platforms. If you're somebody who's only on eBay and Posh, maybe expand to Mercari. And now that Mercari doesn't have, seller fees, maybe worth throwing all your stuff up there to see what happens. So use this time that's a little bit slower to try to do the things that maybe you don't have time to do during the rest of the year. And another thing is utilizing the tools to make sure that you're doing the things that are going to give you the most bang for your buck. Think about things that you can automate, things that are repetitive. Think about using templates. Think about setting the things up that maybe will end up saving you a minute or two per listing, but you just don't have the time to do it. Take the time now. Think about your inventory system. Think about all the ways that you can automate some things, because in the real busy times, that's going to add up. That time will really add up.
Exactly. Yeah. Try those different things. Try all those little, and that's the thing is utilize List Perfectly tools that you have. Maybe expand to different platforms. If you haven't tried a Mercari, try a Mercari. Maybe do a Posh show.
Yeah. Try it.
Whatnot.
Yeah. Tell it, and join the List Perfectly as a group. You don't have to be a List Perfectly member to be it. It's the List Perfectly Facebook group. But every week we ask people, you having a show this week, drop in your link so other people can see it and support. So, and you never know. And if you're somebody, Susie does some things on Whatnot every once in a while, and she'll sell bathing suits, and she starts them cheap enough that resellers could use it to resell. So you never know what you're going to find when you go and watch somebody else's show.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing is learn from each other, take that time. There's always a lot to learn from other sellers.
Totally.
And if you don't know, we've got all these resources that we offer for free, not just List Perfectly resources for all sellers. A lot of marketplace chat goes on in there. You can ask questions in there. The List Perfectly group. Join up if you are on the Facebook. It's a great resource. We've got the podcast, we've got the blog, we've got the YouTube that you're on. You're on right now. The YouTubes, the internet.
We've got the YouTubes.
There you go, Kathy. Plan on start on Depop this summer because I can use the knowledge of my high school helper to decide what to sell there.
Yeah, I mean, use them for what they're worth. They know things that we don't. They call things that we don't call them. I mean, get their knowledge. I think it's a great idea.
What's the vintage cutoff on Depop? That the
25 years, isn't it?
I don't know, but
And another thing is just keep analyzing and adapting. Look at your real numbers, really know what's going on. I think some of us, when we get into this business, we are not really being honest with ourselves, and not out of anything other than just we're putting our head down and we're working. But really look at your numbers. Really think about like how much you're spending. What are you really making? How many hours are you really putting in? Think about if you were paying you, right? If you were paying you, would you be okay with what you're doing for an output? I always go back to that in my head.
Yeah, exactly. And be honest with yourself. And the basics of analytics and metrics is, we always say it: do more of what's working and less of what's not working.
Exactly. And you
Laura,
always
go ahead.
No, Laura, what?
Laura's
I'm vintage. Laura, she cracks me up.
I'm double vintage.
I was gonna say I'm double vintage too. So here's the thing. Being a little bit self-aware will get you a lot in this business. Being able to really look at something and know, I'm not going to do that. If somebody says, I list 50 items a day, and I've done that before. I've done the 50 items a day, 7 days a week to try to get where I needed to go. Would I do that now? Probably not. But, you just have to be willing to say, okay, I'm not going to do that, but what will I do? And I think you just need to know. And if you're somebody who your limit's 10 a day, then you got to decide, okay, if it's 10 a day, I need to make sure these 10 are the best they can be. They're as good as they can be. They're making as much money as they can be. And maybe they have to be worth so much. Maybe I don't buy things that are not worth $50 or whatever. And you also have to make sure you're just analyzing and adapting, and use this time to do that, because it is going to be slower. I know the people who say there is no summer slowdown, I tend to disagree with them. I think there is. I think that we all get a little bit slower in the summer. We all go out and have fun. We do things. And I think in the winter, we're all home and cooped up. And so things are a little bit more fast paced, especially in this kind of business.
Yeah.
And so just be aware of what you're doing and what kind of impact you're making on your business.
And something you just said is like, be adaptable, pivot, always be open to learning. But this is, pay attention to that customer feedback, because they'll tell you things like the story where I bought the Magic of Xanth 3-book hardcover bound edition, and it came and it smelled like an ashtray, and there were literally ashes in the book. And so
he kept it, ladies and gentlemen. He kept it.
Well, I kept it. Yeah. The feedback is like, maybe you don't want to sell books that smell like cigarettes, but like if you see, especially if you see a trend in customer feedback, if you're seeing stuff where maybe your descriptions aren't detailed enough, things like that, but definitely take that feedback and put it back into what you're doing. Thank you, Susan.
Good. That's good, Susan. I just want to say something about feedback. Feedback is, of course, platform specific, and how people are allowed to do their feedback is platform specific. But eBay has been changing theirs. eBay's really has been changing the way they do theirs and what they allow sellers to take off. It's much harder to get negatives removed now than it ever was before. This actually came up this morning in Mastermind, and we talked about it for a little bit. I would be a little bit more cautious about how you answer people in feedback, and use the ability to, if somebody's unreasonable, be as reasonable as you can in the feedback, and say things like, I always say, I'm sorry you were dissatisfied. We offer free shipping. I would have taken this back for any reason. Things like that. Try to make it so the other person looks even more unreasonable, and don't stoop down to their level no matter how much you want to. I don't think it's going to help you in the end.
And this is what we say too, is Trish and I have a lot of seller friends. We have seller friends that will battle you in a gladiator to the end in messages and feedbacks, and I just don't think it's worth it. I call it playing dumb. Just be like, oh, sorry, like,
Yeah.
sorry about that, no problem, blah blah blah. Going back and forth isn't going to get you anywhere. You're going to have people that are going to try and bait you and try and mess with you. But some of the stuff I see for that some people post is like, yeah, it's not. I don't think it's worth the back and forth. Vetta's dropping
I was going to say, Vetta's dropping the knowledge. That's exactly what I was just going to say. It's a great idea, Vetta.
It's like, ChatGPT, please respond nicely to this comment.
And you even say, I offer free returns within a 30-day window. Please answer this. You know what I mean? You can give it parameters so it gets out there what you want it to. We should really, what we should do, Doug? We should have a ChatGPT class sometime on Listing Party.
That would be fun. I would like to do that.
Yeah, that would be good.
I'll have AI Doug host it.
Yeah, AI Doug's awesome.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Good.
So customer feedback is important. And I also think, collaborate. Now is a good time to ask other sellers what are working for them. See if you can, and that's what's great about Listing Party, not to bring it up again, but I'm going to, that's what's great, because we can go and say, is this working for you? Is it not? What did you get out of this? Because sometimes we can listen to the same thing and both get something different out of it. And so being able to both, go to the same thing, listen to the same thing, and then, we both get something out of it that's different, in a joint promotion, a giveaway. If you're somebody who's doing social media, if you're somebody who's trying to drive specific traffic to your eBay store, if you have a Shopify store, or as Doug would say, a Spotify store, if you have any of those things, it may be a great idea to, go and, work with another seller who does that also.
And also, well, first of all, I do have to say, you guys, some of you may know, you probably don't know the extent of inside jokes and digs that Trish and I drop on each other in an hour live. But I will also say, depending upon where you're selling and what you're doing, there's different opportunities to collaborate. Like Posh Lives have a really great opportunity where you can bring in another seller. You guys can do stuff on there. And then just think of other options. Is like, I still know there's still tons of sellers that will go live on like Instagram, and they'll sell some stuff on there, but they will also, push you to their stores, push you to their listings. And couple other quick things. Yeah, so Susan, that's the thing is AI is still learning, and you should always definitely check it, because sometimes that you might see some wackiness, but it's getting better and better. Early on, I tested a lot of Chat GPT with music stuff that I knew really well, and sometimes it would be spot on, sometimes it wouldn't. But I do some music stuff in there, and it's gotten a lot better. Susan, we're there waiting for you 24/7. We'd love you to come over.
Susan, come on in.
A lot of fun. What everybody will say, I wasn't sure about it at first or even what it was, but when I went, I couldn't turn away. Susie said, Susie makes it great. Yeah, social media is hard to do consistently. I've got like, I want to go live. I want to stream more. I want to push more on the socials, but it's difficult to find the time to do it.
So here's the thing. If you're somebody, we should do a listing party about this too, about using maybe, setting up a content strategy. I am somebody who does things in blocks of time. I'll spend a whole night and do like 80 posts, and then I'll schedule them out over the next, couple of months or whatever. I do much better at that than doing like one a day. If I did do one a day, I wouldn't.
Do you
have to figure out what.
Go ahead.
Do I what?
You glitched.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What did you say?
That's okay. Do you like listing?
Yeah, I don't mind listing.
Okay.
I again, to be quite honest with you, when I when I was working my business full time, I would spend like 3 days and all I did was list, and then I wouldn't list the rest of the time. I would get all my work done. You know, I would stay. I'm just one of these people. I know most of you guys don't know me well enough to know this, but Doug does. I work in a really like concentrated block, and I will get a lot done, and then and then I'll split that up. I just work better that way than doing like, I am not somebody, if I did do 10 a day, but I could do 100 in a couple of days and then split them out.
Well, I really enjoy listing, and I'm happy to get back into it. Listing drafts in LP. I've got to get to the point where they're listed on the marketplaces, but I enjoy it. And Teresa Cox is the same way. She loves to sit down for a few hours and knock stuff out. But I joke with Trish about, I call it the War and Peace joke. So I joke with Trish that I'll be like, can you give me like, Trish, I need 2 blog, because Trish is like a jack of all trades. She does graphics, she does content, she does all kinds of stuff. And I'll be like, Trish, can you do me, we have stuff we call worksheets. Can you do me a worksheet on blah blah blah? And she'll be like, okay. And then I'll come back the next day. She's like, I've developed a 55 lesson course on the dealing with the summer sales slowdown over 17 weeks, starting a mastermind tied into a degree program.
So one time he says to me, I want to do these blog covers. And I said, okay. And he goes, so there's like, let's say 50. And he goes, I just want you to do them like over the next month. I was like, okay. Yeah. I think that was on a Thursday. I had them all done for Tuesday. I was like, here, I did them all over the week. He's like, why? I'm like, I don't know. Because they're there. I just do them.
And then they get banked up. Doug's the bottleneck.
Doug, I don't want to be the bottleneck, ladies and gentlemen. Not me.
She does, yeah. Trish does a ton. But I love this one. Because this is my background, ladies and gentlemen, before social media and all this. Online forums, communities related to your niche, gain insights and connect with potential customers. So what we're talking about here is if you've got stuff like, and that includes Facebook groups, there's niche Facebook groups. And again, this is whatever you have the time for. But if you're interested in what you're selling, I mean, if you love what you're selling, increasing the knowledge is going to help you. Online forums, the easy one is like the eBay community. Some of the other marketplaces have things like this, but I think the eBay community.ebay.com is one of the biggest, one of the longest out there. Sellers have a love-hate relationship with it, but they have a lot of stuff now that is sellers helping sellers. You can choose that option to get helped by another seller. But this is just one of those things, Google search stuff. There's also obviously like Reddit, and, options out there that if you're like selling comic books or things like that, or listing parties, Trish.
A listing party? What's that? I've never heard of
exactly. Listingparty.com.
So do me a favor. Could you find, because I'm having technical difficulties over here, could you find the link for the eBay to sign up for eBay's thing for tomorrow?
eBay summer seller check-in?
I think so. So anyone who's here, just so you all know, today's Wednesday, June 5th. Tomorrow, I believe, is the summer check-in for eBay. It will be about an hour and a half probably. And if you are not signed up, I absolutely would suggest going. They do give away usually some swag. They'll have different things that you fill out and you can maybe get some swag. Not everybody will, but there'll be enough that it's worth doing. But anybody who sells on eBay should absolutely go. It's worth it. And they're going to announce some things tomorrow about eBay Open. And I don't know what else they're going to be doing. Yeah. So you're invited to the summer check-in. So please, if you're somebody who's in this community, I definitely think it's worth going to tomorrow.
So summer seller check-in, they'll be announcing stuff. You never know what's coming. again, Trish says they'll be talking about eBay Open and how
Trish
that's
may
going
know that, and she shouldn't have said it, but
to
I said Trish may know that, and she might have not supposed to have said that, but oh well, tomorrow.
It's going to happen.
How much trouble can I get in?
Devin Wenig doesn't work there anymore, so you won't get whacked by the eBafia.
All right, well then we're good.
So what got Doug in trouble?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the convoluted link to register. Hang on one moment. Yeah, that's the link to register. We'll put that in the thing. And then this lady is waiting right now for it to start. It's the summer, so but this is June 6th. Summer seller check-in. Oh, I know some of these people. So they're going to introduce it, talk about some of the stuff.
Yeah. And then after that, there's networking rooms. So some Dana from Liz Perfectly is going to have Vicky from LV Pink Peacock. She'll have a room. So there's some networking rooms. They're mostly for regions. So if you're somebody who is in a specific region and you want to find out more about your local seller meetup. So yeah, it was going to be good.
Dude, Shay looks very serious.
Yes. So I would like to say that since we're making announcements, I would like to also say that camp is going to happen again this year, and it will start August 19th. It is going to be virtual, and I believe things will be probably announced next week. So it's coming out soon.
It's going to be cool.
Yeah.
I'll be there. Trish will be there virtually.
And it'll be fun. Doug's going to do a different thing every night, different costume.
Maybe we'll come to your house.
Maybe we'll show up.
Hey, what's up?
Well, Doug, it's been a pleasure as always.
Always a pleasure. You're always a joy, Trish. You are like the Jelly of the Month Club, the gift that gives all year around.
The jelly. I have been called worse things than the Jelly of the Month Club. So I'll take it.
There you go. But thank you. It's always a joy, always fun. And thanks everybody for tuning in. Always good to see the usual suspects. If you haven't, I should have said this along the way. Give us that thumbs up, that like.
Yeah.
That's what the YouTubers say. It's like, hey guys,
you gotta get better at that.
You gotta get better with that.
Give us a thumbs up and a follow if you're not following, because it will help us in the algorithm.
Yeah, follow, subscribe, and get those updates. And then you can comment across the board, and you can usually watch on Facebook. You can usually watch. You can watch in YouTube. A lot of people watch in YouTube. And then don't forget for Trish, the ladies in particular. Okay. Friday, try to control yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Trish may swoon. Friday, 11 Pacific, Patrick and I will be back. Everybody's coming to see Patrick, though. Patrick and I will be back. I think his cough will be gone, we hope. And so we are doing the Don't Do This with Liz Perfectly 2.0 Part 2 Revisited, Reduxed, Remixed, Trish. The dance remixed.
Just so everybody knows, Patrick does have a lovely radio-esque voice.
I can hear you, Trish.
Doug's is pretty good too. Doug.
We'll see. It's all effects.
See? Laura's happy he's coming.
Thanks, Laura. I told Laura I'd have bigger hair for this live.
We just like to make Doug upset and say that Patrick's voice is better, just to get him.
I can go cry now. Maggie Weber will be there surely, though.
I'm sure Maggie thinks that Patrick's the coolest.
The bee's knees. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate it.
We will see you next time. And don't forget, Monday Coffee Talk, Wednesday Coffee Talk, and listing party, Trish's daily 50 times a day, 50 times a week mastermind. Wednesday, Snoop Dougie show. Next week, I think, is some movie soundtrack related thing. Might be John Hughes soundtracks.
Oh,
I know. Trish might even be there. You never know. Wednesday, reseller tips here on the YouTube. Friday, the List Perfectly Friday Live. Rotating hosts, rotating guests, rotating topics. And then obviously Seller Community Podcast just came out today. Michael Swope and of 1-4-Silver talking about community, customer service, what he does, seller advocacy. He's literally on a seller advocacy trip right
yeah.
now. So that's cool. So that's out. And then, all the other resources we have out there. But all right. Thank you so much, Trish. I'm going to
Thanks,
let you
guys.
go. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye. See you next time.